How to answer, why are you such a great match for this role, without feeling like you're bragging. In any interview, your ultimate goal is to show that you're a great match for the job. But you still might get thrown for a loop if you're asked point blank why you're such an ideal candidate. How can you know if you're the best? You may think you're well suited for the job, but you don't know who the other candidates are. So you might feel uncomfortable declaring yourself the top choice.
Besides, so many people find it hard to boast about themselves, even in a job interview. In this video, you will find out
why interviewers ask why you're such a great match for the role, 5 tips for crafting an answer that reflects you and the company.
At the end of this video, we will show you example answers to this question. So why do interviewers ask this question?
When they're considering whether you're the right person to fill a position, interviewers want to see if you fully understand what they are seeking in a new hire. Or they may want to see if you can clearly articulate your competitive advantage as an applicant.
You don't need to objectively prove that you are the number one candidate in every way. Instead, interviewers are looking to see that you've put thought into how you thrive in this job and understand how you uniquely qualify for the position.
Recruiters and hiring managers can only do so much on their own when it comes to lining up your background with the job. When interviewers ask this question, they want to know whether the interviewee has connected the dots between their skills and the requirements for the role.
So here are 5 tips crafting an answer that reflects you and the company. If you want to be prepared to answer this question well, there are a few tips you should follow. Number 1. Understand what the company needs.
Interviewers want to know that you understand what the company is looking for, both for this position and for any employee on their team. You can't answer this question if you don't first know exactly what a great match for the role would be. So study the job posting and research the company ahead of the interview.
Also, don't be afraid to network on LinkedIn. You can reach out to the company's recruiter and current employees to really get a feel for the team and glean any internal insights into what the company is looking for. Also, remember that your answer isn't set in stone. This question often comes with towards the end of the interview, so you can incorporate things you've learned during the conversation or during any early interview stages or phone screenings.
Pay close attention to anything that sounds especially important for the role and incorporate these clues into your answer. Maybe they emphasized a big upcoming project they need this person to lead, or they mentioned that the team has an issue with keeping their digital files organized and accessible.
You want to show that you have been an active listener, connect with the position, and you are the person for the role.
Number 2. Determine how you're uniquely qualified. Once you know what a company needs, you can figure out how you fit the bill. With your answer, you want to try to demonstrate why you'll succeed in the role and be a value add to the team, and why you're excited for the role.
Think about it. What pain points are you going to solve in the job? What additional skills do you bring to the team or company beyond the requirements of the job description? Do you have a unique perspective on the industry or the company's product? Are you aligned with the company's values in a way that will help you thrive, support the mission, and add to the culture? So go beyond a simple response such as, I can do blah blah skills in my current role, or I have experience in blah blah industry, so I'm equipped to take on this role. You want to give an answer that blends your current and past experiences, unique skills, and personal passion and interest in a way that's specific to the company and unique to you.
This answer is also a spot to address concerns. For example, if an interviewer seems concerned that you don't have the experience in a certain software skill, you could mention a related program you've used or talk about how quickly you pick up new tech.
Number 3. Incorporate examples.
Stories resonate much better than just listing all the skills for the position. So wherever possible, you want to work examples into your answer. Examples are always great because they not only are unique to you, but they also give great context and insight. Strong examples will back up what you're saying and help you stand out from the pack. What's more memorable? I'm detail-oriented, or I once managed to find the one error in our thousands of lines of source code that was making our application fail to run.
The second one.
Correct.
So come to your interview prepared with several stories that demonstrate different skills and qualities, so you can select the most relevant ones to incorporate into your answer to this question. You can structure it using the STAR method, and you can learn more on how to do in our previous video.
Number 4. Keep it concise. For your answer, make it memorable but not a long list of things. This doesn't necessarily mean going through 3 full examples, structured with the STAR method though. You'll need to make sure you're not rambling on. Only provide information that is necessary for the interviewer to understand your response. Avoid going off on tangents, providing too much information, or being too vague.
Number 5. Don't be afraid to show off.
You may be listening to all this advice and worrying that you'll have trouble pulling it off without feeling like you're bragging or being cocky. Many people are very uncomfortable answering this question because it feels boastful to them. But don't worry. Interviewers are looking for hires who are confident in their skills, and job interviews are meant for showing off your accomplishments. However, if you're someone who has trouble talking themselves up, you can
mention how others have praised your skills and found them useful. For example, you can say, my managers always come to me as a X resource. Make your answers a bit more objective rather than I'm so organized. And you can back your point up with examples, details, and numbers, rather than saying something like, I was one of the best sales development reps on the team. You can set some numbers or other details to back yourself up. For example, I averaged 32 new meetings booked a month compared to the overall team average of 21. This is also where examples come in. A story about how you organize the big group project shows your interviewers your leadership skills, so they can see for themselves how you arrive at assessment that you are a good leader.
Also make objective connections to the role. If you know that a company or team is looking to launch a new project or struggles in a certain area, for example, you can mention these things and then talk about how you might be able to help based on what you've done before. If you find it hard to brag about yourself, simply stating a few facts about your background may come more easily to you.
How do you feel about this question after learning the tips we just mentioned? If you're still not sure, here are some example answers to help you further. But remember that any answer to this question should be highly specific to you and the role you're interviewing for.
An entry-level candidate for an administrative assistant role could give an answer like, we've already talked about my experience as a staff assistant at my university's admissions office, but I think that one area we haven't touched on as much is how much multitasking and priority juggling I had to do in that role. For instance, one day I was responsible for organizing mailers to be sent out to high school students, but at the last minute I was asked by someone else to go help with check-in at a recruitment event that was short-staffed. My manager, who told me to work on the mailers, wasn't in the office, but I knew that an in-progress event took precedence. So I went, and when I returned, I was able to seek help from a coworker to still finish up the mailers on time. My manager was impressed by my judgment and initiative, which from what you've mentioned will come in handy in this job when I may have competing requests from a number of departments and employees. I also spent 4 years in a community service club during school, and we often organised after-school tutoring and childcare sessions for events. So I know some of the logistics that go into planning events for kids. During my senior year, I was the club's treasurer who was responsible for budgeting, planning, and booking our volunteer trips, which would help me book travel for employees and manage event logistics as needed. Plus, I was in charge of tracking the money we spent and reporting it to the university, as well as reimbursing members who paid for things out of pocket. so I'll be able to handle expense reports and similar tasks with ease. For example, a designer might say, "I'm a great match for this role because not only do I have the experience in designing logos, websites, and other graphics for tech companies, but you can also see from my portfolio that my preferred style is very similar to your brand's." Earlier, when you mentioned that the original logo came from graffiti art influences like Lady Pink, I got so excited I almost interrupted you. In college, I did my senior project on her work and studied her use of shape and color to evoke emotion. She's definitely one of my major influences to this day, and being able to bring that part of my art to work with me each day would be a dream come true, and it would help me deliver results more efficiently since I'm using the style I'm most comfortable and experienced with. You also mentioned that the first project for this role would likely be the design work for a marketing campaign to raise awareness for the new individual subscription tier for your software that has more features than the free plan but fewer than the pro plan, designed with multiple users. I was with my last company when we did a similar product launch, and as someone who uses software designed for businesses in my freelance work, I was really able to share my insights on what draws me to different productivity programs and makes me willing to spend money on an individual license. The graphics I designed for social media brought in over 500 conversions in the first month after launch alone. So I'd love to take what I learned from that project and apply it here.
If you like this video, please like and comment.
Subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future updates. See you next week.
Bye!
Bye!